Now, Nolan Arenado is one of, if not one of, the best third basemen in the game right now. There are, of course, rumors circling that the Rockies want to trade Nolan Arenado. And today, we're going to make that a reality. Today's rebuild, the Colorado Rockies star in Life After Nolan. Leave a like and subscribe if you want to see more videos like this, and let's get into it. Alright, as you can probably tell from the intro, we are doing a Nolan Arenado-less rebuild for the Colorado Rockies. So the way we did that is we have downloaded the latest offseason roster from Operation Sports. I downloaded it last night, so I don't know if the Maikel Franco signing is on there, but it shouldn't really matter that much. And basically, we're just going to go in, and we're going to trade Nolan Arenado at the end of the year. And then we're going to figure out how to rebuild them into a championship squad, maybe in 2 or 3 years. So this year being year 0, we're just going to simulate to the end of the year, see what happens. We'll go over the roster at the end. We're going to trade Nolan Arenado at the end of the year. And yeah, we're going to try to do this in a semi-realistic way. So if you haven't already, make sure to hit the like and subscribe button as John Gray, the pissed off leprechaun, kind of just stares at us on the screen. He's telling you to leave a like on it, because if not, you're going to make the leprechaun angry, and you don't want to see an angry leprechaun. Let me tell you. Alright, the Cubs defeat the Yankees in the World Series this time. That is the end of year 0. We did not make the playoffs per the real-life Rockies. We actually finished not well, 75 and 87. We'll go ahead and go to the offseason now and look to make some moves in the future. So we want to get younger. Our hitting coach is apparently retired. So some moves we want to make to make this realistic. Obviously, we need to trade Arenado. That'll happen probably later in the offseason, just because of how the contracts and trading in the offseason works. So we're going to do that, and we probably need to re-sign some people. We'll go over the roster now. It doesn't really make a ton of sense to do right now, but we'll do it anyway. So John Gray pitched pretty well in game last year for a Rocky. Obviously, tough ballpark to pitch in. German Marquez pitched maybe even better than Gray, but went 8-14. Gray, of course, went 13-7. Freeland had another rough year. Senzatella, I guess, is fine, and then Jeff Hoffman. So starting pitching could be something we address, especially a good number 5 starter. The bullpen looks okay, but again, not great. We have Oberg here, Wade Davis, and Carlos Estevez. Estevez is 27. So the back end's okay, but not great. So the pitching, we could maybe use a bullpen arm. We could use a starter or 2 potentially. And the lineup, we're going to have a hole at third base, and we're probably going to trade for a pitcher and highly rated prospects. Nolan Arenado obviously is a monster in game. I think we can kind of swing that. Trevor Story is our shortstop and the guy we're probably going to build around in the future. Charlie Blackmon is 33 years old, 81 overall. We'll see what we want to do with him. He's our right fielder for now. His contract, though, is big. So do we maybe try to move that as well? I don't know. Baby Dahl, David Dahl, is in left field. Then we have Story. Obviously, Murphy's getting up there in age. Ramil Tapia just can't be the center fielder. He's a step up from Desmond, but I just don't love it. Sam Hilliard is a DH. Obviously, we don't play with a DH, so that doesn't really matter. Garrett Hampson, he could be good. He's a second baseman long term. And then Tony Walters, who develops nicely, I find, in game, will be the catcher. So, yeah, we need to figure out what we want to do. I don't think Josh Fuentes is the answer at third base in-house. So we'll figure it out. I'm going to make some off-season moves, and I'll catch you guys in a second. We've tendered contracts to everyone I want to and done the whole arbitration deal. Let's dive into free agency. Now, obviously, the pool is close to wrapped up. I know Porcello is a Met now. That's an obvious error. But most of this is still correct as of today and when you guys are watching the video. So we are going to have a hole at third base. I don't think Josh Donaldson is in the cards for them. I think pitching maybe is more likely at this point. Maybe they sign like a B or C role reliever. Maybe like a Craig Stammen, an AJ Ramos, and Addison Reed, something like that. Yeah, I think that might be more likely. And then maybe we go in and we sign a pitcher. I know Jordan Lyles is on the Rangers now. Teheran got signed. I don't know. We'll see what we want to do. I don't know. I know they have some pitching in the minors, at least on this roster, that seems pretty solid. We're gonna have to see. We're gonna wait it out and see who's available at the end. So we'll just keep on going. All right. Pre-Arenado trade, we're in kind of a tough spot here financially. Just fine. We're going into spring training. We signed Robbie Erlin and Nick Vincent to kind of help the pen out a little bit. The pen is pretty deep, but we need to move a contract, and it's just, we're not in a good spot. So Arenado's eating up a bunch of money, which we need to move, but it's hard to trade his contract, really. Blackman's eating up a ton of money. Ian Desmond should probably get moved, but we do have a bunch of money coming off the books at the end of the year in Daniel Murphy at $11 million, and then Wade Davis is getting paid $17 million to be a little bit above average, I guess. So we have some options potentially at the end of the year, but for this year we're in a tough spot. So I'm going to shop around Nolan Arenado, and I'll get back to you guys when I find something. So this trade is going to have to happen in waves, I think. So Nolan Arenado and Sam Hilliard get me from the Cardinals, who show interest in real life. Paul Goldschmidt, for budgetary reasons, I know he's a really good first baseman, but I needed to take on that contract to even make this work. The real pieces I'm getting here are right fielder Dylan Carlson, a 21-year-old. He's one of the top prospects, a potential. Hopefully he's a beast at some point in this rebuild. And then a starting pitcher named Zach Thompson, who, as we go down here a little bit, B potential, not the best, but not terribly bad. We're going to try to flip Paul Goldschmidt as well for more prospects or MLB-ready talent. We do have Daniel Murphy, so maybe we try to move Murphy. I'm not sure, but either Goldschmidt or Murphy is going to be moved here in a second, and I guess you guys will see. But we're going to go ahead and send that through. Now, Goldschmidt's dropped from a 92 overall to an 88 overall because he's on the bench, which will not be the case for too much longer. We're going to try to trade Murphy first because it feels like that's going to make more sense. Okay, it is not great, but this is a lineup we're going to go with for now. I have a couple of players still posted on the trade block, but I couldn't get rid of them in time. I can't find a trade, and I don't want to sit here all day. So here's the lineup going into the year, and we'll trade somebody midway through probably. It's Blackman, Dahl, Goldschmidt plays first. Big upgrade from Daniel Murphy. Trevor Story plays short. Murphy will play third. Big downgrade from Nolan Arenado. He's the one we're trying to trade. And if that trade goes through, we get to Colton Welker, who I guess will be our stand-in for a while. Ramil Tapia plays in center. Then Brendan Rodgers plays second. Walters will catch. Yeah. It'll be interesting. I wonder if Garrett Hampson can play anywhere. Hampson can play second. Can our second baseman play? Brendan Rodgers play third? He can. That's low-key kind of sick. So Rodgers is going to play third for us then. Hampson is going to play second. Yeah. Because I'd rather Hampson play than Daniel Murphy. And we'll trade Murphy to someone, hopefully. Well, we made it to the All-Star break. No one here in the Home Run Derby for us. Still have not come across a trade for Daniel Murphy or Goldschmidt. The contracts are just so big. It's hard to find a trade for them. And I've sat here for probably an hour, and I've just been unable to find any kind of trade for either one of them that makes sense for the team to do. Because I want to take on some maybe MLB ready prospects. But then you have to take on a different contract just to make the budgetary thing work in the game. So I don't know. It'll be rough as we don't have any pitchers here. Ahmed Rosario makes the All-Star team in 2020 from the Mets, a shortstop, which is interesting. Bryce Harper is a center fielder now. Did we get shut out of the All-Star game? Trevor Story and Goldschmidt. Goldschmidt's having a good-ish year. Okay. Cool. Let's keep going. All right. Another trade with the Cardinals. This time, Paul Goldschmidt, Tyler Nevin, and Elliot Soto. Goldschmidt going back to the Cardinals. Get us Matt Carpenter and Colton Wong, who's going to be our center fielder. Now, we're not done with them quite yet, I don't think, because we need to trade for Tommy Edman. I don't know where he's going to play yet, but he's going to. Now the lineup looks like this as we get to a no DH lineup. It is Blackmon, Dahl, Carpenter for now at first base. Trevor Story, Garrett Hampson, Colton Wong patrols center field. Brendan Rodgers still plays third base for the time being. Tony Walters at catcher, the pitcher obviously. We have a pretty deep bench now. I'm sure we're going to have to send somebody down because we're probably way over the limit. But we need to move now. Tapia, Desmond, and Murphy are next on the agenda. So I'm going to update the trade block and see what happens. Raimel Tapia, Ian Desmond, and Kellen Deglin. Get me Ryan Presley, who has 2 years left on his deal. Joe Biagini and Ryan Hartman just to make the deal go through. Not bad. We're getting better in the bullpen, which is somewhere we needed to get better. So the last guy we need to trade now is Daniel Murphy, who I feel like we've been trying to trade for the whole video. Now the Astros have interest, so I imagine we'll get a trade out of this here in a second. Okay, I couldn't find one that makes sense, so we're going to keep on simulating to the end of the year, see how we do. Season ended, we finished 81-81. That was good enough for 25 games behind the Rockies. Padres drastically underperformed their 10th rank. Overall, it wasn't bad, I guess, as we'll take a look at awards. Colton Wong won Gold Glove, I believe. How does this work? Gold Glove for second baseman is Colton Wong, even though he was playing center field a lot. Won it as a Cardinal last year. We'll look at some of the stats. Charlie Blackmon had a pretty good year out of the leadoff spot with 25 home runs. David Dahl was not amazing, but not bad, I guess. Matt Carpenter spent about half the year with us. Not terrible. Trevor Story looks like he was a monster there with his .910 OPS. Daniel Murphy didn't play a ton. Was not great. Colton Wong wins the Gold Glove and doesn't hit terribly. Not too bad. Brendan Rodgers was not good. Tony Walters looks okay. Garrett Hampson looks like he had a bad year as well. So second and third base were rough. We're getting rid of Murphy. I guess we'll look at these guys as well. Daza, not great. Doesn't look like any of these guys were amazing, except for maybe Rabago, who had 23 at-bats. So can't really do anything with that. Josh Fuentes was okay. We'll look at the rotation. 200 innings for German Marquez with 200 strikeouts. He looks great. He looks like he had a great year. So does John Gray. Kyle Freeland was really good. The starting rotation overall looks pretty good. Jeff Hoffman, the one exception, who looks pretty bad. Robbie Erlin looks okay, as does Russin. Each of them with about a 1.2-ish whip. Pazos was not very good. Biagini, who we got in the middle of the year, the 5 ERA is not very good either. Scott Oberg, not great. Ryan Presley was elite. Wow, we traded for him in the middle of the year with a 0.47 ERA. That's kind of wild. It's a little bit wild. And then Wade Davis obviously is here. So we have some things to do in the offseason to get a little bit better. So we'll sim to the offseason, I guess. As the Yankees defeat the Cubs in the 2020 World Series. We'll look at the retired players as Scott Burcham retires. Not a super big loss. Cano makes the Hall of Fame. That is not too bad. We'll go ahead and look at who is coming off the books. Looks like we have some money. Matt Carpenter is going to get paid $22 million. Honestly, that's fine. Charlie Blackmon is getting paid 18 for like the next 4. We need to move him while he still has some value. Ryan Presley was elite. No problem keeping him. Yeah, the only guy I feel like we need to really maybe take a look at here is Charlie Blackmon. Just so you guys can get an idea, we're letting Murphy walk. Wade Davis, we're going to make an offer on him. 2 for $5 is honestly pretty good for Wade Davis. We'll even bump the money up a little bit. I don't want to go longer than 2 years though, so if he accepts, he accepts. Russin, same kind of deal. I'm going to go 3 years, maybe for 1.8 a year. Murphy can walk. The rest of these guys can walk, honestly. Not super worried about it. So that's the exclusive free agency thing. So one hole we have potentially here is right field. We have a lot of money now, and one thing that we could look at doing is adding an outfielder and trading Blackmon for something. Literally anything, realistically. Now, I don't know the direction I want to go with that yet. Obviously, Mookie Betts is here, a 99 overall, and he's going to be expensive. I don't really want to do that, but the drop down for the next best right fielder, or outfielder really, is just so big. It's kind of crazy. So maybe a David Peralta would be kind of fun for a year or two. Maybe Michael Brantley for a couple of years. Jack Peterson's still pretty young, but he cannot hit lefties at all. So I don't really know how viable that would be. And we could move maybe David Dolan to left, as maybe we steal him from the Dodgers. Yoenis Cespedes is here. Yeah, I don't know. We don't need to do anything. Mookie Betts obviously would be a huge upgrade. But with Colton Wong there in center field, I feel pretty confident with that. David Dahl is a left fielder, and he's good and continues to develop. He's only 27 right now, which is great. And then Charlie Blackmon's really the mystery. Do we play Jonathan Daza? Probably not. So I don't know. We're in a weird spot right now. The rest of the team is pretty okay as we kind of go through it. Yeah, it's pretty all right. Building around Story, Wong. We're getting there. Some of the more important in-house contract options we gave out. We gave Brendan Rodgers a 2 years for $2.8 million deal to keep him around. Obviously, he's one of the guys we were building around, as well as Carlos Estevez. We gave him 3 for $3.9 as a reliever. I imagine he'll crack the big leagues this year. Colton Welker, same kind of deal, 2 for $2.4. We have some money to spend, so I'm not too worried about giving these out. That's pretty much the big ones from there. But then we offered a couple of pretty big deals here in the contract arbitration deal. We want to keep Trevor Story long term, so we offered him a 5 for 131 deal. I think he's a shortstop the Rockies want to build around, so this kind of makes sense to me to offer him a big deal. That keeps him locked up until he's like 33-ish. So pretty happy with that. Kyle Freeland, same kind of deal. 6 for $55 million. It's under $10 million for a guy that's going to be our number 1 or number 2 for years and years to come. Seems pretty worth it. David Dahl continues to develop, so 3 for $20 didn't seem like a terrible thing. Tony Walters, we gave a longer deal, 5 for $32 million, but he's going to be our catcher for a long time, so I'm not worried about it. And he also apparently plays second base and shortstop, which I did not know. Some good versatility. The rest, kind of depended. Jeff Hoffman, we gave a deal just because I want him to keep developing, so he's going to be in our rotation this year. Tyler Anderson can walk, I don't care. Joe Biagini can walk, and we'll try to sign him maybe later if we have to. But those are pretty much all of the deals we gave out. Scott Oberg, we gave a 2-year deal, and Senzatella, we gave a 3-year deal, because he's going to be pretty solid. Only 26 and already an 80 overall. I feel pretty good about it. So, I don't know. I might just simulate to... There's not really anybody I feel like we need. Especially even if we go look at the pen. The pen's not super bad. We have Wade Davis, Ryan Presley, and Scott Oberg are our back 3. And then we have a bunch of mid-70s as the rest of the pen. That's not bad. And then Jeff Hoffman, who's going to continue to develop, is going to be our number 5 starter. And Senzatella's here. Kyle Freeland. We have John Gray still. German Marquez. The pitching's not terrible. The lineup's not bad. We'll see. We'll see what happens. I think I might just simulate and see what happens. I'm curious to see where Mookie Betts goes. In the most Oakland A's move ever, they go and spend a lot of money, because that is what Oakland does. Does? Really? That is what Oakland does. They spend a lot of money and they go sign Mookie Betts to a long deal. The Oakland A's MO, to be completely honest. Trevor Bauer is gone. Kirby Yates is gone. I'm not worried about it. Freeland, Dahl, Walters, and Hoffman have all signed, which is pretty cool. You like to see that. Free agency, almost everyone is off the board now. DJ LeMahieu is here, but he doesn't really help us a ton at this point because we want our young guys to keep developing, so I'm not really going to sign him. Third base, I feel like we're okay, and we just signed Justin Turner in the last video. Marcell Ozuna interests me. We might offer Ozuna a contract, and then we'll figure it out from there, but he might be our right fielder, to be honest. But $13 million is just so much money per year. I don't want to do 5 years either. What about 2 years? What about 1 year for like 13.5, and we'll reevaluate. Alright, let's see if Ozuna signs. DJ LeMahieu, the Met. Paxton is a White Sox. Ozuna accepts a Brewers offer, and that's fine. That was going to be a bonus, but not anything we needed a lot of. Workman is gone. Cool. This is the team for year number 2. German Marquez, Gray, Freeland. Then Senzatella and Jeff Hoffman, the 5 starter. The pen, pretty much the same as it was. We have Robbie Erlin is still here. Carlos Estevez, Chris Russin, Jairo Diaz, Wade Davis, Scott Oberg, and Ryan Presley from the Astros deal. In AAA, James Pazos is a guy potentially that could get called up this year. We'll see. Joe Biagini is also in AAA, even though I tried to let him walk. I guess I didn't do that correctly. I don't know how you screw up not re-signing someone, but that has happened. Peter Lambert and Ryan Rollison. Two people we might see this year in the majors. Now, for the lineup, I haven't readjusted it, but this is kind of what we're looking like with no DH. So we're gonna adjust it because this is bad. Colton Wong though is here. David Dahl, Charlie Blackmon, Trevor Story, Matt Carpenter plays first, bats fifth. Colton Welker will play third base. Dylan Carlson finally got called up. He's a 73. He will play center field. Tony Walters and then Herman Marquez. On the bench, though, we have Hampson and Brendan Rodgers, who are both here and both probably able to play. We might need to trade one. Maybe we trade one with Blackmon. And I know that might be like a sin to Rockies fans, but I'm running the show now. So that's tough. We're going to simulate a month into the year and see how Welker is doing. Because Welker should be pretty good. He's an A potential. He's 23 years old. He's the third baseman of the future in theory. We're not paying him a lot of money. But also, we just have too many infielders. Unless we teach one of these guys to play first when Matt Carpenter leaves, but then Colton Wong is here for a while. Oh, just this year. Never mind. Maybe Colton Wong... But I kind of want to re-sign Colton Wong. That's the problem. Maybe Colton Wong is our everyday right fielder with no arm? We'll see. How good of an arm does Dylan Carlson have? We'll see. We'll see what happens. I'm going to simulate and just see how that works out. At the midseason mark, we have no one in the home run derby, but I did see Anthony Rendon is there. We are 51 and 39 atop the NL West. Not bad. Not too bad. I guess we'll hop in and see if we have any All-Stars. The team's been doing pretty well. I stopped in the middle of May to see how it was going, and it was going really well. So that's good and positive, which you love to see. We'll see if we have any All-Stars. Stroman, Scherzer are the top two starting pitchers. So you don't really expect to see a lot of Rockies pitchers on here, as all the normal suspects, I feel like, are on here. And then for hitters, Nolan Arenado is here, not a Rocky anymore, but former Rocky. Then Matt Carpenter is here. Trevor Story's not here. Trevor Story did make it. Okay, good. I was wondering what was happening. Charlie Blackmon also made it. Charlie Blackmon's having a pretty good year. And that's it. So we have 3 Rockies All-Stars. It's going pretty well. I guess we're going to simulate to the trade deadline. That seems like the next thing we should do as the AL defeats the NL. I would not like to stop simulating. Okay, thank you. James Paxton is a Padre. Moving to the NL West. Here we go. Chris Martin, Drew Walters, and Rick Porcello are coming to us for Charlie Blackmon, Brendan Rodgers, and Peter Mooney. This is mostly to clear Charlie Blackmon's contract. We don't really have a spot for Brendan Rodgers right now. And then if we can't get Colton Wong back, we can move Garrett Hampson back to first base, or back to second base, and that'll boost his morale, and he'll be competent there. Hopefully, though, we're able to bring Colton Wong back. It also Drew Waters here from the Braves is an A potential center fielder. He's already a 78 overall, so I might just call him up immediately, and he might be our everyday right fielder right now. So we're going to send that through. I think it's a good move for everyone. The Braves were interested. They need a right fielder. They have a lot of right fielders, so Waters is kind of getting blocked inside of that. So we're going to unblock him a little bit. So here's the lineup now for the time being. Colton Wong, David Dahl, Matt Carpenter moves up to the 3-hole. Trevor Story, Dylan Carlson, who's playing okay. Colton Welker, Drew Waters, who we just traded for, and then Tony Walters. A lot of W's right there at the end of the lineup. But you know, it's going well. It's going all right. Rick Porcello gets me Jordan Brewer and Dean Dietz from the Astros. I enjoy that move. I think that helps us long term more than Rick Porcello and the pen for right now. It'll go through. That should get us back to the 25-man roster. It does. We actually have a lot of spots in single A available. Not super worried about that. But, yeah. So at the deadline, I guess I should show, we are now 3.5 games back of the Dodgers, which is a little bit unfortunate. We are, though, just a game and a half out of a wild card. This might have to be a two-part video, because this has been like a 2-day thing. Like, since I've started recording, Ian Kinsler has retired in real life. And, yeah, it's been a long recording session, and we're only like 2 years in. So it'll be interesting. Some unfortunate news. Matt Carpenter has broken his foot. He'll be out for the rest of the year, so I'm going to make some adjustments. We're actually winning the NL West now, which is wild. So we don't have a first baseman anymore. I guess the first baseman is going to be... who? Garrett Hampson? Garrett Hampson's going to play first. And that's probably going to be a disaster, but it's just what has to happen right now. Unless... can Welker play first? No. Okay, we'll figure it out. To make this work, I give Hampson a secondary position at first base, as well as the rest of the infield. So, you cannot like it, but it's what we're going to do. And we're winning the division, so I don't really care. Let's sim through that date, see what happens. The Rockies win their division. We are 91-71. We'll be taking on the Cubs in the division series. So in year 2, is this year 2? We make the playoffs, and that's pretty good. We did that with the Rangers. Now we're doing it with the Rockies. We'll take a look at some of the stats. Matt Carpenter obviously won't be here because he's injured. Colton Wong was a monster. David Dahl, also a monster. Drew Waters developed pretty nicely since we got him. Really nicely. He'd be fun to do in a year 3. Trevor Story was good. He's a really good player. Josh Fuentes is the DH we never use. Colton Welker is the third baseman that we were developing, and he's developing really nicely. Garrett Hampson playing first base was not great, but we just kind of threw him in there last minute. Dylan Carlson, pretty good out in center field for his rookie year, and then Tony Walters, the catcher. Jared Walker is up. I'm not sure why. He's a 57 overall. Should probably send him down, but he never plays. Jonathan Daza was okay as a bench bat. Dom Nunez was pretty good for a catcher. And then Sebastian Elizedale batted .360 in 25 at-bats and had a home run. So overall, not terrible hitting stats from the team. We'll take a look at Trevor Story's a little bit. He took a step back this year, which is not great. I don't love that. Colton Welker, how did you do? Not too bad. Garrett Hampson was a late addition. Yeah, overall, I'm really pleased with everyone's performance. We didn't have anyone that was otherworldly. But it wasn't too bad, as we'll take a look at the pitching now. German Marquez pitched really well. 221 strikeouts is amazing. John Gray has a chance to lead the league in strikeouts with 242. That is an insane number. Each of them were great. Kyle Freeland was okay. Not amazing. Senzatella was great by Senzatella standards. And then Jeff Hoffman took a step up, which you like to see. So the pen, pretty good on the back end of the pen, except for Wade Davis was not very good. But besides that, everyone was pretty good. Joe Biagini did not pitch this entire year, apparently. And Robbie Erlin was pretty good. So Joe Biagini, I'm pretty sure, was in the major leagues the entire year and did not get a single inning pitched. Okay. Cool. I guess. Way to go, game. Robbie Erlin continues to be amazing. He might be someone we need to bring back. As we'll take a look at some awards. Doesn't look like we won any, but Pete Alonso wins MVP in the NL. Mike Trout in the AL. The Cy Young is DeGrom. Blake Snell in the AL. The batting title is Brandon Belt. Rafael Devers wins it in the AL. National League Reliever of the Year is Kenley Jansen again. Taylor Rogers in the AL. Rookie of the Year, Victor Mesa, as though he is stuttering. And then Daniel Johnson in the American League. Yeah, pretty cool. Pretty good. I guess we'll go into the playoffs now. We take on the Chicago Cubs, so hopefully that goes pretty well. That's the bracket there on the screen. This will probably be the last year, and we'll come back to a part 2 if we get up to like 4 or 5 likes. It wouldn't take a lot for me to come back to this. Well, we win game 5 of the series in a exciting game, apparently, with Wade Davis and Brendan Morrow being the 2 deciding pitchers. We won game 1, lost game 2 and 3, won game 4, won game 5. Now we are playing the Braves for a shot to go to the World Series, and this will be the last season now that we've made it through the first round. As we'll go game by game, I guess. As we lose game 1, we win game 2 though. We're coming back home. Kyle Freeland's on the mound and we lose. Senzatella now needs to get us there and we lose. So we're down 3-1 now and we lose. So that's tough. Max Fried gets the win. Hoffman pitches decently but not great in the loss. So that's going to do it for at least this first part. If we get good response on that, on this video, I guess we'll come back and re-hit this one. Take off where we left off, if you will. One last look at the team. Colton Wong, David Dahl. It'd be an interesting offseason coming up, so I kind of do want to come back to it. Drew Waters is here, Trevor Story, Josh Fuentes. Colton Welker is developing super well. Garrett Hampson, Dylan Carlson, and then Tony Walters, the catcher. It'd be an interesting offseason. So we'll probably come back and do this one again. I need to redo the Rangers one first. Or revisit it, I guess. Chris Russin's an 82. Oh, man. That's crazy. Yeah, that's going to do it for the video, guys. Make sure you leave a like and subscribe if you enjoyed it. Rebuilding Nolan Arenado lists Rockies. He hasn't been traded yet, probably as you guys are watching this, but I have a feeling it's coming soon, and they're at least talking about it. So I want to get it out there. Kind of a hypothetical rebuild. Let me know what you guys want to see next, and I will catch you guys in the next one.